So when Jesus was about 13 years old, he was in school, and he ran out one day for recess, and he left the door open, and the teacher yelled, "What's the matter with you? You're letting all the hot air out. Were you born in a barn?" And he said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I was." But, you know, we know the story. The funny thing is that's important. That, like, nothing about the story is right. Everything about the story is kind of upside down. If God's going to send a Savior, you think he'd be born of famous people. Joseph was a carpenter, probably had slivers and calluses. Mary was just a kid. A king should be born in Jerusalem or Rome, not in Bethlehem. His first visitors should be famous people. They were shepherds with animals. The wise men came, they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They should have brought diapers and formula. If they were wise women, they would have brought diapers. But they had wise men. Nothing about the story is right. Everything about the story is little. It's about, a baby in a little town. It just doesn't, that's not what you'd expect for somebody famous. Littleness, small. But maybe that's the message. I mean, in popular culture, what do we remember about Christmas? Tiny Tim, a sickly little kid. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, who wasn't allowed to play with the other kids. And the land of misfit toys that nobody wanted. It's just like things don't work the way they're supposed to in the story. But that's kind of a prelude to the rest of the story. As Jesus will make clear, the last will be first, and the first will be last. Things don't work the way. It's about the little, not the great. And maybe that's what brings a lot of people out at 10 o'clock at night. And thousands here at 4 o'clock. It's about the littleness, not the greatness. And God works in little. To be honest with you, I feel young on Christmas. More. I'm just talking for myself, but I think you'd probably agree. I can't help but go back to when I was a kid and the traditions that my family had. And my mom's dead, God, 20 years, my dad, 40 years. But we used to have this, only some people will remember this, people of a certain age. We had like a silver Christmas tree. And they had a revolving thing that shined different colors on it. It was so, I don't think you could buy one if you wanted to. But it was cool. And Mom would always say, and people do this still, take a piece of straw and it'll bring you good luck. I still do that. And I was in charge of moving the wise men from where they were to the crib, a little inch every day, that they get there by little Christmas. I mean, that's a long time ago, but I can still remember that. And I can still remember being with my mom and dad. And they're gone a long time. But tonight, I'm little again. I'm young again. It's only Christmas does. Even Easter doesn't do that. And Easter is a lot more important than Christmas. And the little people who are poor, or the poor people who seem little, like this parish, and I think every parish in the diocese, does so much for the poor. But we always do it, but more at Christmas. There were so many presents over in the rectory that seriously we had to almost consider suspending operations because we couldn't walk around. And we always care about the poor and the needy. The thing at the Byron Center, they were standing out in the cold at 3 o'clock in the morning in the pouring rain. That was an amazing day. That's your church at work. And we always care about the poor, but at Christmas, we care more. Like my pockets are in the same place on my pants, but my arms seem to reach deeper at Christmas. It's just the way it works. The little people stand out. The shut-ins, we bring communion to the shut-ins on every Sunday. There's nothing more important than that. But at Christmas, we send care packages, the nursing homes and homes, So they might be shut in, but they're not shut out, And it just makes, and they're little people. Next time they come to church will be for a very, very sad occasion. Most of those people. But they seem to stand out again, even though they're very little, you don't see them. And the people only come to church on Christmas. There's a lot of people only come to church at Christmas. A lot of them are probably at the 4 o'clock Mass. They feel like misfit toys, I'm sure. They don't know the newer answers to the prayers, and maybe they don't have a seat that they sit in that's kind of like their territory. And they maybe think that they don't belong or something. They're the most important people in the building. They think I'm coming to look for God. No, God's looking for them. And once they realize that, then, they realize that they change Him. Because nothing makes God happier than when the lost sheep come home. Nothing. They they actually impact God, not the other way around. You know, and they may think they were not that important because we only come once in a while. They're very important. Very, 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 very important. Those are all little people. The occasional attender, the shut-in, the poor, me, you, the littleness. Tonight we're all like little. We're all kids with wonder. What will Santa bring? You know? It's just a great night. See, there was this school was having their Christmas pageant, like every school does. At least every religious school can do it. And they had a kid, third grade, who was not, you know, not the smartest kid in the class. And he wasn't able to remember things too well. And they wanted him to have some role in the play. And he said, what can he, I mean, he wasn't able to remember too well. And just, you know, they wanted to give him something. So they made him the innkeeper. So he was going to wait at the door. And when they knocked on the door, he had one line. They figured he can remember one line. And the line was, we have no room, we do have a barn. That's all he had to remember, was one line. We have no room, but we do have a barn. And the teachers rehearsed him, and rehearsed him, and rehearsed him. His parents rehearsed him, and rehearsed him, and rehearsed him. The other kids were saying, you got to get this line right. You got to get it right. So he's at the room where the innkeeper is. And Joseph and Mary came in, he knocked on the door. All he has is just that one line. And he comes out, and he says, we have no room. He got the first part down, very good. And then he kind of started to like stutter and stammer a little bit. And oh my God, he forgot the second part of the line. And he said, but you can have mine. Does he have yours? Let us stand, my friends.